Hi Project Runway fans, we're back on After the Runway. It's episode 4, and this week's challenge was kind of a long one. They had to create a signature look for the Campbell's Address Your Heart program using Campbell's branding and the color red. And then the winning dress was going to be worn to a gala during Fashion Week and sold on the projectrunway.com website to raise money for charity. So there was a whole kit and caboodle wrapped into this challenge. Yes. And right from the start, Amy said that she really wanted to win this one, that it meant a lot to her to win this one. And she did, which was great.
If there was one challenge that I could win besides making it to the final 3, this would be it.
And she gets to go to Fashion Week,
yes.
to the party.
Yeah, to the party. Gets to have her dress worn and seen. And it was really the only dress worthy of being seen, I think.
Yes,
yeah, so true.
I felt like having such an important challenge with the inspiring group of women, to only give them one day and $100, it seemed almost to sort of make it impossible for anyone to create something worthy of being worn to a big gala event during Fashion Week.
And they were all freaking out, and I think the mediocre dresses they came out with reflected the short time period they had.
Definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was, the dresses were just wah-wah.
Yeah. They had to use the Campbell's color, and they had to use this horrible satin. Like, satin is so hard to pull off no matter what size you are, and so many of them put that satin on their bigger, regular-sized ladies, and it just causes puckering and pulling. It's so hard to pull off.
Yeah, and it's not modern or interesting. It's just bad.
Yeah, it was bad. The guest judge this week was Georgina Chapman from Marquesa. Pretty good choice. She does a lot of big event dressing. So the top 3 this week, I was a little surprised. They liked Mila's sort of costumey Wonder Woman star dress. Her model worked it, which I think really elevated it to top 3, but I thought there were other more beautiful, nicer dresses that could have been chosen rather than hers.
I just find it interesting that she's so into these kind of like graphic, bold, kind of like prints or look and feel. So it'll be interesting to see if she, continues to, give the same thing, or if she actually can produce something different.
As soon as Amy's model stepped out, her dress had presence, it moved beautifully, it was very regal. It just was the only one that stood out as a gala-worthy dress for Fashion Week.
Yeah, and her model looked great in it. It was totally flattering.
Like, if you saw anyone walk into the room wearing that dress, you would totally just stop and do a double take.
Yeah, how she managed to make that red non-tacky was impressive because no one else knew how to do that. And the fact that she had the chiffon overlay, again, you didn't have to make a bunchy satin dress. So she's the only one, clearly, who knew what she was doing this week. Jessie made, I don't know, what, a waiter coat, over a Stitches dress. It was so bad. And the shoulder, was it supposed to fall off like that?
I think so.
Heidi and Nina loved the bosoms and loved the neckline, but I thought it looked really sloppy and unfitted. Is that a word?
Yeah, Heidi and Nina, they're all about the bosoms.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because Heidi's knocked up or something. I don't know, but you're right. There's been a lot of boob talk.
They love the boobies.
Yeah.
Jessie's silly flower out of the...
Yeah, it wasn't even a flower, it was a square.
It was like Sex and the City from '97.
Oh
maybe.
God, you're so
not
right.
Even. It was just scraps of extra Campbell's fabric that he just threw together and just pinned onto the dress.
Yeah, it was terrible. Poor, poor Jesus. And his questionable taste levels. When I saw those rhinestone straps, I didn't even know what to think.
And I kind of felt bad for his model because it really seemed like that's what she wanted, and maybe Jesus just made it out to seem like that's exactly what she asked for. But, they kept saying taste levels, and I thought they're kind of insulting her now.
Yeah.
I know. When I saw his dress, 2 words came into my head. It was just Euro trash. And it totally reminded me of that Jean-Paul Gaultier show from the 90s called Euro Trash. I was like, oh, she's an extra. That dress could have been worn by one of the extras.
Well, that's episode 4. It was a little mediocre, so I'm hoping that next week, when they have the biggest challenge ever, as they promised us, they'll bring us some real fashion, because we're all ready for it. So we'll see you back here next week for After the Runway.